Can dogs sense a bad person? Have you ever noticed a dog instantly dislike someone for absolutely no obvious reason? Maybe the dog suddenly stiffens, starts growling, avoids the person completely, or acts nervous around only that one individual, even though they seem perfectly normal to everyone else. Moments like that make people wonder about something deeply mysterious. Can dogs actually sense when someone is a bad person? A lot of people genuinely believe they can. Some say their dog only reacted aggressively toward one specific person, and later that individual turned out to be manipulative, dangerous, dishonest, or abusive. Others believe dogs somehow detect hidden intentions long before humans do. But at the same time, many experts and dog owners strongly disagree with that idea. They argue that dogs are not mystical lie detectors or supernatural judges of morality. Instead, they believe dogs are simply incredibly observant animals reacting to emotional signals humans often miss. And honestly, the truth may be far more psychological than magical. One reason this belief is so powerful is because humans naturally search for signs of safety and danger in the people around them. Social interaction is complicated, unpredictable, and emotionally exhausting sometimes. So the human brain constantly looks for shortcuts to decide who feels safe and who does not. Dogs seem to provide exactly that kind of emotional honesty. Unlike humans, dogs do not fake politeness, hide discomfort, or pretend to like someone they are unsure about. Their reactions feel immediate, raw, and instinctive. Because of that, many people see dogs as emotionally pure creatures that cannot lie. So when a dog suddenly dislikes someone, humans tend to assign deeper meaning to it. People often think, the dog must know something I don't. But psychology suggests something more complicated may be happening. Dogs are extremely sensitive to human emotion. They constantly read body language, posture, facial expression, movement, breathing patterns, tone of voice, and emotional tension. Even tiny changes in human behavior can completely alter the way a dog reacts. A person may not even realize they feel uncomfortable around someone, yet their body already communicates it through subtle signals. Maybe they tighten the leash slightly, stiffen their shoulders, avoid eye contact, change their walking speed, or unconsciously become tense. The dog immediately notices those changes. Then something interesting happens. The dog reacts to the tension, perhaps by becoming alert, defensive, cautious, or nervous. The human then sees the dog reacting and becomes even more suspicious themselves. Suddenly, both human and dog begin reinforcing each other's anxiety. What started as a small subconscious discomfort becomes interpreted as proof that something is wrong with the other person. This creates a powerful emotional feedback loop, and many people mistake that loop for supernatural intuition. There is also another psychological factor involved: confirmation bias. Human memory is incredibly selective. People tend to remember emotionally shocking events and forget ordinary ones. If a dog dislikes someone who later turns out to be dangerous, manipulative, or abusive, that memory becomes unforgettable. It feels like undeniable proof the dog somehow knew. But people rarely remember all the harmless strangers dogs barked at for no reason, or all the genuinely bad people dogs absolutely loved. The human brain naturally clings to patterns that confirm emotional beliefs. One dramatic coincidence can outweigh hundreds of normal interactions in memory. That is why stories about dogs predicting bad people feel so convincing, even when there may be many forgotten false alarms in the background. At the same time, humans themselves may already be detecting more than they consciously realize. The brain constantly processes subtle information beneath awareness, including micro-expressions, unusual movement, emotional inconsistency, unstable behavior, aggression, unpredictability, or awkward social energy. Sometimes people experience what they call a gut feeling, where someone simply feels off even though there is no logical explanation yet. Dogs may simply react to the same subtle cues humans unconsciously notice themselves. The difference is that humans often suppress their instincts for the sake of politeness, while dogs do not. That is one reason dogs seem so emotionally honest. They react openly, without social filtering. In many situations, the dog may not be discovering hidden evil at all. Instead, the dog may simply be externalizing emotions the human already sensed deep down but refused to acknowledge consciously. Another important thing to understand is that dogs often react strongly to things completely unrelated to morality. A dog may become nervous because someone smells unfamiliar, walks differently, behaves unpredictably, wears unusual clothing, moves awkwardly, speaks loudly, or resembles someone connected to a past negative experience. Rescue dogs especially can develop fear responses connected to very specific visual or emotional triggers. A dog may distrust someone because of boots, hats, deep voices, limping, nervous energy, or certain movement patterns, not because the person is dangerous. Dogs rely heavily on pattern recognition. If something feels unfamiliar or emotionally strange to them, they react cautiously. Humans, however, often interpret that reaction personally and morally. This is where anthropomorphism also comes into play. Humans naturally assign human thoughts and emotions to animals. People often imagine dogs as morally wise, spiritually aware, emotionally pure creatures that somehow understand human character better than humans do themselves. Psychologically, this belief can feel comforting. It creates the reassuring idea that danger can be detected before harm happens, that somewhere beside us exists a loyal companion capable of sensing hidden threats we might miss. In reality, dogs probably do not understand morality the way humans do. They likely do not separate people into categories of good and evil philosophically. What they do understand extremely well is emotional instability, tension, fear, unpredictability, aggression, unusual behavior, and changes in human energy and body language. And because genuinely dangerous people sometimes display those traits, dogs can occasionally appear uncannily accurate. But believing dogs can perfectly identify bad people also carries risks. People may unfairly judge strangers based entirely on a dog's reaction. Fearful people, disabled individuals, anxious personalities, trauma survivors, or socially awkward individuals may unintentionally trigger dogs despite being completely harmless. Once humans decide a dog is warning them about someone, confirmation bias can make every future interaction feel suspicious. That is why it is important not to blindly treat dogs as supernatural judges of human character. At the same time, dogs are undeniably extraordinary observers. They notice emotional shifts, tension, stress, inconsistency, fear, and discomfort with incredible sensitivity. Sometimes those signals genuinely matter. Sometimes humans ignore warning signs their dogs react to immediately. Other times, the dog is simply responding to unfamiliarity or emotional tension with no deeper meaning attached. So can dogs really sense a bad person? Probably not in a magical or mystical sense. But they can absolutely sense emotion, instability, fear, aggression, discomfort, unpredictability, and subtle behavioral changes humans often overlook. And because dangerous people sometimes carry those signals unconsciously, dogs occasionally seem almost frighteningly accurate. In the end, the real mystery may not be whether dogs can sense bad people. The real mystery may be how much humans already sense themselves, long before they consciously realize it.